Hello, today is Friday, July 10th, 2026. Here is your daily signal. According to the Associated Press, tensions in the Gulf have escalated after the U.S. military launched attacks on Iran, following Tehran's missile strikes on 3 ships in the critical Strait of Hormuz. This incident, which took place on July 8, 2026, has brought incoming missile threats to Kuwait and Bahrain, with international energy markets responding swiftly. The Strait of Hormuz remains a vital transit point for global oil shipments, and recent U.S. moves have further revoked Iran's ability to sell crude oil openly, highlighting the deepening impact on oil flows. Meanwhile, OPEC+, led by Saudi Arabia, is adjusting production to stabilize prices, shifting the market focus from shortages to fears of a glut, as noted by Fortune. Oil prices jumped, and worldwide stock markets dropped after President Donald Trump raised doubts about a temporary truce with Iran. Key numbers from the news include OPEC+'s extension of output increases, the U.S. attack restricting Iranian oil exports, and a sharp rise in oil prices on July 8, 2026. Missile threats to Kuwait and Bahrain are creating operational risks for energy infrastructure, and OPEC+'s actions may risk a medium-term global oil glut. Restrictions on Iran could tighten supply, but ongoing volatility in oil prices and equity indices could affect fiscal planning in both Gulf-producing countries and major importers. Next, we turn to rapid shifts in military technology on display in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Business Insider reports that NATO is ramping up drone operator training, aiming for 5 times as many personnel ready for new warfare by the end of 2027, with over $40 billion invested in counter-drone capabilities. The Russia-Ukraine war has fundamentally changed the use of drones and air defenses, with both sides employing them for attacks and surveillance across vast distances. Since the escalation in February 2022, Ukrainian drones reached their furthest target yet by striking Russia's largest oil refinery in Omsk, Siberia, nearly 1,700 miles away. Meanwhile, Ukrainian officials warned on July 6 of running low on Patriot interceptors after failing to stop a Russian ballistic missile barrage, urging immediate transfers from Allied stockpiles. Major defense firms like Raytheon and Lockheed Martin continue to support the development and delivery of these critical systems. The training and investment from NATO could improve defense capabilities significantly by mid-2027. Ukraine's long-range drone strikes may prompt Russia to reinforce its infrastructure and spread assets. Patriot interceptor shortages raise Ukraine's vulnerability to further missile attacks unless urgent supply and local alternatives are developed. The conflict's escalation in drone warfare and its countermeasures will likely set standards for future global military technology. Next, we examine the emerging risks of quantum computing for internet security. New Scientist highlights how Peter Shor's groundbreaking algorithm, developed at MIT in 1994, has the potential to destabilize internet security worldwide, though Shor himself isn't concerned about any crisis occurring imminently. Shor's algorithm efficiently factors large integers, threatening RSA encryption, which underpins secure online transactions and communications globally. With quantum computers becoming viable in the mid-2020s, interest in quantum-resistant encryption has surged, driven by companies like IBM and Google racing to develop powerful quantum hardware. Government agencies, such as NIST, are accelerating the shift to quantum-safe cryptography, while cybersecurity firms and industry leaders strategize migration to new protocols. Near-term, institutions are expected to ramp up their adoption of quantum-resistant standards to stay ahead. However, if quantum computers become powerful before these migrations are complete, a vulnerability window could emerge, potentially exposing financial, medical, and government data secured by RSA. Global trust in digital infrastructure depends directly on prompt industry and policy action against risks posed by Shor's algorithm. Now, onto the markets. International markets showed mixed moves, with Germany's EWG up slightly by 0.56%, while Belgium's EWK edged higher and France's EWQ saw moderate gains. Spain's EWP outperformed, rising 0.63% as the top gainer in the group. China large cap FXI slipped by 0.09%, marking the biggest loser, with Hong Kong's EWH up 0.47%. Commodities had a generally positive session. Silver SLV jumped 2.48%, copper CPR gained 1.83%, and gold GLD rose 1%, but US oil USO dropped 2.85% as the largest decliner. In sectors, semiconductors stocks soared by 3.50%, led by Marvell MRVL up 4.99%, Finance XLF advanced 1%, and Clean Energy QCLN climbed 2.82%, while Agriculture MOO dipped 0.63%. Among individual stocks, AMD surged 5.67%, ARM rallied 9.2%, and Oracle advanced 2.65%. Notably, Marvell stood out among chip stocks, while NVIDIA slipped 0.66% and Axon fell 2.98%, representing the session's top decliner and favorites. That's it for today. You can find more news and details on our website. Goodbye.